I think the most important part about Parker to me throughout the pandemic was just the community and just really making sure that connections between students and teachers were maintained, that we got to see our friends and we got to have a lot of social activity, even if it was virtual with one another.
Obviously during COVID, we were kind of stripped of that just connection that we had with our friends and teachers. And with the hybrid learning that Parker was able to provide during COVID, that was just really helpful in getting me through it with just those human interactions.
I think that Parker in general has tried their absolute best and they've done the most they possibly can to cope with what's been happening and trying to give their students the best education and also resources possible.
It got me to think a lot about my relationships, and actually once we were back on campus last year, I realized how much I missed my teachers and I started having lunch with a different one once a week.
I never really noticed how organized our teachers are here at Parker until the pandemic hit, and then I realized, whoa, I was able to just look online and everything was right where it needed to be. All assignments were up to date, everything was graded in a timely manner, and having that level of organization and detail from the teachers helped the transition be that much easier.
I have my English teacher last year would come to all of our sports games and things like that, and I've had several teachers do that and just really try to support kids even outside of the classroom.
I think teachers are inherently selfless, but during COVID, you just really had to think about your students. You really had to focus on their well-being. You really had to focus on what was right for them. You had to focus a lot on just bringing joy into the classroom as much as you could, making it as much fun as you could for them. And I think we really accomplished that last year.
Some teachers decided to cope with the students being remote by stepping up and putting together these little kits and thinking about okay, if I was stuck at home, what could I kind of play with to learn the same thing from a little hands-on activity. So people put so much time and care into what should go into that little kit, or what would be a little bit of material or a little piece of equipment that maybe I could use more than once. What's really crucial to give the kids that they could use throughout the year.
And the way that teachers give that extra effort to connect, even through a screen, or to give that extra effort to connect when a student comes back to campus, when they know that someone is struggling at home or with something personal, to rise above and to give that extra that we all need in that moment. That's really what makes this community special.
Every single teacher here at Parker, they were just all in. They came in all in, and faculty, the staff, and the students, nobody was passive. Everybody really looked within themselves to see, well, what unique talents, what unique gifts could I give? And people just reached out and tried to help in just the most amazing ways.
One thing that's unique, I think, to Parker, at least as through my experiences, has been you're really surrounded by like-minded peers who want you to succeed and want to succeed, and that kind of motivation and drive pushes you to bring out the best in yourself. And I think during the pandemic, when times were tough, really having that support and encouragement really did bring out the best in me.
So I think in general, Parker students are very collaborative, they're very mature, they're very kind, they're very open-minded, and at least for someone like me who's been here since the lower school, I have been so conditioned to be kind. It's just so deeply internalized, and that's absolutely because of what Parker has provided for me and taught me.
Parker students, I think, are some of the most genuine and kind students literally around people I know. They care so much about each other.
Parker students are a very determined bunch. I think we all have goals that we want to get to, and we all help each other achieve those goals.
I am so impressed by this generation of students. They are resilient for sure. What I've noticed with mine is that they have grit and determination in a way that they never had before. They are able to pivot at a moment's notice to figure out a different alternative, because that's what they did all of last year. And the most important thing I think I notice about my students is they're very tolerant.
I just think it's really cool how we never could see how we would adapt to these types of situations until it actually happened, and to see that we all grew from it and we all became better people.
Well, I think COVID really taught us how humans are willing to come together during times of need, and I think just carrying out that virtue throughout life is going to really be important in making a positive difference in the world.
Really what the pandemic did for our generation is it made us take a step back and say, what do we really need in life? And that's people at the center of it. We're gonna have so much empathy as an entire generation just because we've learned the necessity to take care of one another and to reach out to one another in need.
In a lot of ways, I'm glad that we had COVID to kind of give us perspective on what adversity feels like and what it feels like to have to go through something together and come out of it stronger. And I think we absolutely have. I think I've definitely seen it here at Parker.
It's not a smooth roller coaster to the top. It's rocky, and there's ups and there's downs, and you have to navigate all of those. And I think that COVID was if I can make it through a world pandemic, I can get through this injury, or I can get through this tough week of school.
It's been a crazy ride. It's also really solidified, for most of us, our calling to be teachers. We really recognize in these times how badly these students and these children need great mentors and adults in their lives to help guide them through what we think are automatic processes, and they're not. They just need a little bit of guidance and help, and somebody to tell them it's okay, it's going to be all right.
I just want to thank my teachers for all that they've done during the pandemic, whether that be, like I said before, helping their students out despite the unforeseen circumstances, and just always being there during a tough time. That just was tremendous, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you for just being so flexible and being willing to try a bunch of new things to help everyone in a class succeed.
What makes Parker is the people, whether it be the students or the faculty, but the relationship that I feel like I've been able to build with each of my teachers is so important. It's just whenever you have a problem, whenever you have something that you don't know how to navigate, there are people who are intelligent and smart and good advice givers, but are also just so kind and so willing to be there for you. So.